The town of El Cobre is on the way out of Santiago. The tiny town is surrounded by mountains and copper mines, which is how it gets its name. Religious or not, it's a must-see, part of Cuban history, a destination for the faithful. By the side of the road, a man selling knickknacks tells us how to get there. As we get closer, you see people selling flowers. At these stands, you can choose from all sizes and types of wooden relics. Our Lady of Charity is probably the most honored and prayed to religious icon.
En primer lugar, tengo fe en la Virgen.
We have faith in the Virgin, says Noglis Gonzalez, who relies on that faith and on the faithful to feed his family. Thousands come to this sanctuary.
Este ha sido mi modo de sobrevivir.
This is how I survive, he says. He's been selling these small works of art since 1995. People cannot have the real icon at home. They take this instead. And on her anniversary, you can pray to her. Gonzalez pays the government a $15 license fee to run this stand, but he says they still have enough to run their household and make more icons. These guys are resourceful. When building these images, they use up old broken light bulbs to save money. In the end, it doesn't matter what they're made of. What matters is that you end up here, at this shrine, where inside you find La Virgen de la Caridad. In the early 1600s, 3 farmers found the statue floating on a small board in the waters of the Bay of Nipe. Story goes, it had the sign that said, "I am the Virgin of Charity." It was taken to the parish of El Cobre, but kept disappearing and would always be found on a slope at El Cobre, where the townspeople built a small church and eventually this basilica. It is here where Pope Francis celebrated Mass. Those who come, Cubans and foreigners alike, come with devotion. This woman carrying her days-old baby girl was there to give thanks for the good delivery. We have so much faith in her, she says, because she's our patron, our savior. Ask any Cuban and you'll get the same answer. The province of Granma is our next stop. As we arrive, the sun is starting to set. By day, the early morning hustle is easy to see. So much activity in the streets, and it's not even 8 a.m. And while a good amount of people walk, we notice instantly lots of them are on bicycles. So it makes sense, there are spots where you can leave your bike for a minimal fee. The sign outside says, "Parking for bicycles." Amilcar Milanes takes care of them, estimates parking about 100 bikes a day at this home, which is also, by the way, used for a small cafeteria where they sell shakes in these Corona bottles turned glasses. It's about 9 in the morning and you can see how many bikes he's already stored. He says he charges about 1 Cuban peso per bike. So that's about 100 pesos a day, 400 a month, the equivalent of $16 US. We go back to the park where others make money a different way. These are city workers using a well to get water they use for the plants and trees around the park. That's where we find Carlos Brizuela, a lifelong topographer who was born and raised in this town, a town he loves, but has been retired 2 years now. Gets about $12 a month. That's how you live, he says, day by day. And at night, at the Central Square, if they're not playing soccer, kids are riding bikes. This red bike with Cuban flags on its side says, "I'm happy in my country." The man behind these bikes is Manuel Nogueras.
Echa para atrás, Mimi, la cabeza para atrás.
He's been renting them for 11 years.
Ya yo le pintaba las cosas, le ponía, hacía la soldaba, esa cosa.
He painted, welded another bike, and the business started growing. Now there are 8. The bikes rarely come in one piece, some broken apart, so he puts them back together and gives them a special touch. Some of these, Russian-made, can be as old as the revolution. Nogueras does this every day. Each ride costs a Cuban peso. So each month, he ends up taking home about $80 a month. That's a decent wage for Cubans. Most of it he uses to pay the bills, the rest to keep up with the wear and tear of the bikes. Jose Mira brings his 1-year-old granddaughter, Liana. Too many limitations because of the economic situation here in Cuba, he says. We want better salaries and better living conditions. But for now, all he can do is enjoy the tender moments with Liana.
Yo todas las noches lloraba.
Coming up, the story of two sisters, one in Holguín, the other in South Florida, separated by politics for more than 4 decades.
Soy hija de Freddy.
And our journey turns personal for our producer, who learns about her family history. Then, we head into the province of Camagüey, where we quickly fall into a tourist trap.
Want to see more? Head over to local10.com and visit our special section. An interactive map will connect you to Cuba's 15 provinces, full of extra footage, interviews, and slideshows, exclusively on local10.com.